So, in this video, we are going to talk about the importance of understanding market sophistication and what it's all about. So, some of you might have heard about market sophistication in recent years. It has become more well known. It was, I believe, made popular from Eugene Schwartz from back in the days, which isn't really like people glorify that book, but it really isn't that great of a book because most of the tactics that he kind of teaches in that book is kind of outdated. But um, today we're talking about market sophistication, and some of you that have heard about market sophistication before, you might have been introduced to it a few times, but when I first got introduced to it, I didn't really understand it down to the exact way that you have to deal with it. So you might have seen this graph before. You might think you know what it's all about, but bear with me while I will be creating the most in-depth video on how to explain market sophistication for you today. And this is really what is going to make your campaigns pop, right? Because some of you guys, you've tried sending cold emails, tried sending DMs, tried whatever it is, and you just cannot book meetings. And that is usually because you do not understand where your offer should be in terms of market sophistication. It's usually the case because most of us is selling something that is being sold before in some way, and you might be sitting there saying, well, my offer is extremely different, but the way that you talk about the offer is not really different. Okay, and that is what we're going to go into today. So you have to match your marketing with the level of the market. So before we get into the nitty gritty, I just want to explain what it's all about. So we have the level of the market sophistication here, and we have the time, amount, and quality of buying experiences here. And this is the skepticism of your prospects. So when someone is, let's say that we have, it's an example that everyone knows about. So it's like a t-shirt, right? I don't know. So or a sweater, right? So level one of is the birth of the market. So you can basically make any claims here, and it's gonna work if there's a demand for it. So the skepticism of your prospects, this basically just means that how many times they have heard the same offer before. So at level one, your potential clients have not heard about this offer before. Okay, so this is level one. So when they've heard about this offer many times, they move to level two, and then they move to level three when they've heard that offer a lot of times, and then level four, and then level five. So it's basically just a way of figuring out, okay, what do I need to do with my offers so that I can actually get the attention of my prospects. So at level one, with a sweater, you just say, hey, this is a sweater. It's gonna keep you warm. Okay, pretty simple. And when everyone has heard about that offer before, they move to level two. You cannot just say it's gonna keep you warm because everyone knows that a sweater is keeping you warm, and maybe they already have a sweater, whatever, right? So you have to make the claim bigger than your competition. That could be that it is cheaper. It could also be that it is going to keep you warm, even in the coldest area that you can ever imagine. Okay. Level three is introducing a mechanism that offers a logical reason why your claim is achievable. So you might be implementing something that it has a unique feature where it has 5 different layers of a different material, and that is why it is keeping you warm even on the coldest areas in the entire world, and that is why you should buy the sweater. And when the prospects have heard that before, you move to level 4. Create a better mechanism or upgraded version of the previous mechanism. So an upgraded version of the previous mechanism You basically just do more of that same thing. An upgraded version, I mean, it could either be something like you also get some fucking heat protected socks, or like you get something else. Um, but it could also be that with an upgraded offer of a sweater is saying that it is gonna keep you warm even in the coldest things in the entire world, or areas in the entire world. But it also looks stylish and you can wear it to your favorite fancy restaurant, or that um, it's gonna keep you warm even at the coldest areas in the entire world, but you can also wear it um, even if it's not the most extremely cold place in the entire world, because and you're not going to be sweating your ass off. I don't know, something like that, right? Or you can create a better mechanism. So you create a better mechanism. Well, what is that? That could be a jacket. So people want to get warm. People want to be warm. People don't want to freeze when they are out skiing or whatever. So instead of a sweater, you just say, "Well, I have this new thing. It's a jacket, and you can wear it, and you're not going to be cold." Okay. And level 5 is that the market's level of skepticism is at the maximum. They no longer believe in any mechanisms. New advanced marketing strategies must be activated. Okay. And some people also like to say that level 5 is identification. So that means that when you are at the level 5, but people still need stuff like clothing. Like I would say that clothing, you if you're selling clothing, you can basically do two things, right? You can either be the cheapest, um, or you can identify with your prospects. So with clothing, everyone needs clothing. People don't run around fucking naked. So you need some type of clothing. But it's at that level where they have just everyone is selling something. Like everyone is selling t-shirts. So the only way that you can really stand out, unless you are the cheapest, is by identifying with your prospects or your clients or your customers. So that could be if you want to be like a person that appears rich, you buy Louis Vuitton. If you want to be a like a construction worker, I don't know, that type of thing, you wear Carhartt. Or if you are a skater, you wear Supreme or Palace. I don't know. Okay, so that is kind of the whole thing about market sophistication. So if we use that in a B2B setting, um, and let's just use Facebook ads to e-commerce businesses as an example, because that is something a lot of people in here has seen, and a lot of people have seen it evolve throughout the years. So if you are brand new to this, you might not know about this, but most people that is probably watching this video knows that if you go out to an e-commerce brand saying, "Hey, I will run your Facebook ads. What do you think?" and you just send those type of cold emails, you are not going to get a response. Why? Because it is not the market is not at level 1, because there has been so many people asking them if they can run their Facebook ads, right? So they're not at level 1. They might even be up here at level 4 or level 5, because there's so many people reaching out to them about Facebook ads, right? So you need, and that is the reason why that it's extremely important to know where in the skepticism kind of levels is your prospects at. Because if you don't know that, you might just be offering something that they've just heard a billion times before, and they're not going to be interested, even if you send 5 million emails, right? But then if you do Facebook ads to a industry that has never heard about Facebook ads before, you might be at level 1, and you might just be able to get away with saying, "Hey, there's this new thing. It's called Facebook ads. Do you want me to run it? It can get you more leads," right? And then they might be like, "Oh, I don't know about this Facebook ads thing. It might be interesting." And you might be at that level where it's the birth of the market, where you can just make any claims. Um, And that is how it was back in the days with Facebook ads, right? When people got started getting to know about Facebook ads in 2014, 15, 16, and that you could actually run an agency offering Facebook ads, you could literally just go out to local businesses and say, hey, do you want me to run your Facebook ads? I know that business has been dry for a while. I can really just get you a lot of more leads through this new platform where you can reach out to your ideal client profiles, and they will come to you and they will purchase things at your store, and I will run it for you. And people would be like, yeah, I am interested in that. Okay, so let's look at the evolution. So level one is that we say we run Facebook ads to increase your revenue. That is level one. But when people have heard that enough times, it goes up to level two. So people is not interested in just people saying we'll run your Facebook ads. They already know what it is. Maybe they've already been burned by another agency, or maybe they have just heard this claim way too much, or they hear it on a daily basis, and they cannot say no to everyone. So naturally, they will have to say yes to the people that can give them the best offer, right? So level two is we run Facebook ads to increase your revenue by 50%, right? So you make the claim a little bit bigger than what your competition does. So when people start saying 10%, you say 20%. And when they start saying 20%, you say 40%, until it gets unrealistic. And at that point where it gets unrealistic, like let's say, or it just becomes unnecessary. Like if you are running a chiropractor clinic, and someone is reaching out to you saying, "Hey, I'll give you 5,000 new patients a month." He's gonna be like, I only need like fucking 200, so I don't care, right? So there comes a point where you can't just make the claim better or bigger with just that specific number. So when you stretch that number up to a specific point, you have to add something. So that could be a level 2.5 that I just kind of created, where you say we run Facebook ads to increase your revenue by 50% in less than 90 days. So you make it bigger, you make the claim bigger and better by implementing a time component into the offer, right? Or the claim. Then level three is introduce a mechanism that offers a logical reason why your claim is achievable, right? So that could be that is a why they should go with you instead of someone else. Okay. So we run Facebook ads to increase your revenue by 50% in less than 90 days, and if it doesn't happen, we will refund you all the money you spent with us. Okay. This could also be like a logical reason why your claim is achievable is also case studies, right? Testimonials. So we just did it for X company, and they did this. So it's just more proof, more logical reason why your claim is achievable, right? So you might be able to say, we run Facebook ads to increase your revenue by 50% in less than 90 days. But if you don't have anything to back it up with, your competition is going to win, because he can say, we just did that for this company. So do you want us to do it for you as well? And if you don't have case studies and testimonials, you just have to make the offer better in terms of the guarantee or the risk reversals. So level 4 is create a better mechanism or an upgraded version of the previous mechanism. So level 4 is we run Facebook ads to increase your revenue by 50% in less than 90 days, and if it doesn't happen, we will refund you all the money you spent with us plus the ads the ad spend you wasted, right? So you can make the offer extremely good. So there's zero risk from their side. So not only will they not pay you anything, but all the money that they spent on the Facebook ads, you will also refund that, because you are that certain that it's going to work. And that's how you can make that offer, right? So that's what you do if you don't have any case studies. Or level 4 could also be, because as we can see here, it's create a better mechanism or an upgraded version. So a better mechanism, so you can see that the the outcome is revenue, right? The outcome is revenue by 50%. We want to increase people's revenue by 50%. So we can also create a better mechanism or an upgraded version of the previous mechanism. So you can kind of choose yourself. But you can say, we run TikTok ads to increase your revenue by 50% in less than 9 days, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So you can also just use another mechanism to get there. And lastly, like level 5 is basically just reinvent the wheel. So people is at that point where they just do not believe in either Facebook ads or ads in general. They don't believe in it. As you can see here, it's at the maximum. They no longer believe in any mechanisms whatsoever. They don't care about your Facebook ads. It's very rarely that we get to that point. Some industries are basically at that point. You could say that it might be like a new website for, or what could you say? Maybe like what was that? Like the little cards that you handed out back in the days, like the physical cards where your email was on and your name and the company that you were working for. That might be something like people were marketing that stuff back in the days, but like people have just heard that so much before, and it doesn't really work anymore. I guess that's why people is not doing it. So that kind of got out of market, and new marketing strategies came into place. But with all these offers that you hear about today, like SEO and Facebook ads, we are not at level 5 yet, but it's still something that you can use. But we are probably still at level 3 or level 4 with most services. So it's just about creating better offers or upgraded offers. But what you could say here is reinvent. So we will create SEO articles through AI and increase your revenue. So the outcome is still increase revenue, but it's something new. SEO articles through AI. And then all of a sudden, these people's like, holy shit, this is the new thing. I want to get on it. And people will start hopping on meetings. So you can see how this is kind of the evolution of agency services. It's like you just constantly need to find that new thing. But the good thing is that you can still offer the same thing. You just have to word it differently. And that is what we're talking about today. How to word your offers differently so that people will still hop on meetings with you, even though that you have the same offer as anyone else. So here are some examples of people that have just rebranded the exact same thing that everyone else does and have gotten insane success with it. So another way to create better mechanisms, as we talked about here, how to create better mechanisms and how to reinvent the wheel so people think that it is a whole new thing, is just call it something different and just slightly change it. And we're going to go into this, but just call it something different. So examples, Starbucks. What do they call their large coffees? They call it venti or whatever it is, how you pronounce it. It is different, but like it sounds different, but it is 100% the same thing. Lululemon has this Luon fabric that they basically advertise with. I don't know if you've seen it, but Lululemon basically does the exact same thing as everyone else in the fitness industry that does clothing, where it's like it stretches and stuff like that, and it's breathable, and it has been around for the last, I don't know how many years. It's the same fabric as anyone else, but Lululemon calls it the Luon fabric, and then all of a sudden it is new. It's only Lululemon that can do this, and if you search on Luon fabric, Lululemon is the only thing that comes up. Right? So it's different. Lululemon is the only place that you can get this fabric, and then they just brand it as the best fabric out there, even though it's probably like the exact same thing, or maybe it's slightly different, but it's basically the same thing. But you can see how this is like, let's search it. Luon fabric. Yeah, I even got it here. I read about it right before this. Can I get my face over here? It's loading. I don't know why it's so slow. Here we go. All right, let's look at it. This is Luon. the most amazing fabric in the world by Lululemon, apparently. Our signature four-way stretch fabric. You can see how a lot of agencies does this as well. Like our four-step process for doing X, right? So when you say our four-step process, you are also making a unique mechanism because it's your four-way process, right? Is sweat wicking and cottony soft. We love this performance fabric, not just fabric, performance fabric for its serious stretch and recovery. Like, what is the difference between like just normal fucking leggings? Seriously light, okay, light Luan, okay, still lightweight, breathable and cottony soft. This performance fabric is forward, yeah, just saying the same thing. A tight knit version of a Luan fabric, full on Luan performance fabric. Right? So you can see how like this is basically just the same thing as everyone else does, but they just call it something different, and they have gotten insane results with it, and they just brand it like it's their own, right? I don't know if you've seen this before, but like KFC, I don't think they do this that much anymore, but like there was back in the days when they were branding a lot with their 11 herbs and spices. KFC, they just, I mean, they do fried chicken, but they just called it their 11 herbs and spices mix instead and made it unique. But I mean, there's probably other fried chicken restaurants or fast food chains that has 11 herbs and spices. Maybe they have 15, but they just didn't call it that. KFC kind of branded their own way as like their secret recipe for the 11 herbs and spices that they use, right? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, or Coca-Cola Zero as most of us know it as today. There was a lot of diet sodas out there on the market when Coca-Cola created their Zero Sugar drink. But by calling it Coca-Cola Zero, they basically just took over the market because that is really what people were looking for at that time. They were looking for, like, they thought that zero sugar is this whole, oh, it's amazing. Like, I've never heard about this before, but it was actually a huge thing before. But Coca-Cola was just the first one to actually give it the brand, right? Bose noise canceling headphones. Noise canceling headphones has been a thing for a long time before Bose actually implemented it or made those headphones. I even have these headphones, and I bought them because of the noise canceling thing. A lot of other headphones has noise canceling, but Bose, they just called their headphones noise canceling, and that is apparently like the thing that people wanted right then and there. So they didn't really give a shit about all the other things that a headphone could do. It was just the noise canceling headphone, and that is why it got so popular. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. It's just cornflakes. Cornflakes has been a thing for a long time. These guys, they called it Frosted Flakes, and everyone knows it as Frosted Flakes. Charmin Ultra Soft Toilet Paper. I mean, toilet paper has been around for a freaking long time, but these dudes are branding this at ultra soft. So it's just like, it is just the softest fucking toilet paper, and that's how they're branding it. So same thing, just toilet paper, but Charmin's is ultra soft, and that's why people buy it. Okay, so here are some B2B examples. If you didn't know it, HubSpot basically invented inbound marketing and the word inbound marketing as we know it today. They even wrote a book about it. And HubSpot was not the only like inbound marketing tool out there or CRM out there when they got into the game, but they just branded themselves as this new thing. Like, people were doing marketing, people were doing SEO articles, people were doing webinars, but HubSpot just came into the market and called it inbound marketing. The whole thing about B2B sales and marketing is flawed. You should not do any of it. You should not cold call. You should not cold email. Even though they were even like they even had solutions to do that. But their whole branding was just get people to come to you instead of you going to them. So they called it inbound marketing. And obviously, like, most people don't know that HubSpot fucking invented it, but they did. And now it's this huge thing that people talk about constantly: outbound marketing, inbound marketing, whatever, right? And so HubSpot gained a huge following a huge following by just talking about this new thing, even though it was not a new thing. People has been doing their services for a long time, like the SEO articles and getting a following and webinars and people coming to them, etc. Right? A lot of people have been doing that way before HubSpot marketing, but because they called it something different, they just exploded. Right? So I hope you are starting to understand the importance of this and how you can basically just change everything by wording it differently. Like positioning in B2B is everything. It's everything. Okay. So if you can get this right, your cold emails is gonna crush. MailChimp, even though us like people that's really in it, like in this marketing thing, we know that MailChimp is not like the best software out there, but it's still a huge software. And what they really got big on is this all-in-one marketing platform. So they were once just like, I think they were just like emails, right? How they started. But essentially how they took over the market was just do all-in-one marketing platform. So you didn't need anything else. You could do landing pages on MailChimp. You had your CRM, you had your emails, you had everything that you needed inside MailChimp, and they just branded it as the all-in-one marketing platform. And that's how they got big. LinkedIn, professional networking platform. So you might also not know this, but LinkedIn was traditionally just like a recruitment type, like a job board, whatever. That's how LinkedIn started. But they felt like they had to kind of like, there were so many, so they had to kind of differentiate themselves. So they called it the professional networking platform. And then it got to one of the biggest, basically, social media platforms and the biggest B2B social media platform. And here is a also another one called the 2.0 cold call, or the cold call 2.0 method, or whatever, from Aaron Ross. I don't know if you've read the book. Predictable Revenue is a somewhat outdated book about software sales from back in the days, about from Aaron Ross. But in that book, he basically talks about this new way of doing cold calls, the 2.0 cold call method. And he talks about it throughout basically the whole book. And he really gets you thinking like, holy shit, this is the newest way of doing, like, this is the cold call method. I need to do this. And it's basically just a strategy where you, instead of just cold call, you send them an email first and then you cold call, right? Or you get them to say yes to giving you a call. And then you basically get referred to a better person, and then you email that person, and then you call them up. So it's basically just what we know it as today as a warm call, right? And he basically just, instead of saying, guys, this strategy I do is, instead of cold calling, I do cold email and cold calling, right? He could say that, or I do outbound prospecting. No. He had to kind of market it in a way where it was this new thing that nobody knew about, even though that, like, Aaron Ross was not the first person to do two cold outbound prospecting techniques in one, right? But he called it cold calling 2.0, and he basically created the hottest fucking book of the century. So what can we learn about this? It's that even though that you might be doing basically the same as everyone else in your service, at your agency, at your SaaS company, whatever, you have to figure out what is your differentiator, and then you say that in your cold email. So instead of saying, you think about, why are you different? Like, my whole thing, when I got started with cold emails, I was doing a lot of volume. Not a lot of people were doing a lot of volume. So you can say something about your, like, I could call that, even though I didn't, but I could have called that because that was my differentiator. The rapid volume, rapid growth through my rapid growth blueprint, right? I could call it that. And then, even though that a lot of other people were also sending a lot of cold emails back in the days, if I just brand that as like this new method, people is gonna hop on meetings with me because they're like, okay, what is this new thing that this dude is talking about? So even though that a lot of other people's also offering cold emails, I position my thing as this new thing and a different way to do it. And I don't might not even call it cold emails. And they're like, huh, okay. I mean, we do need new sales meetings on the calendar, but the problem is that we don't trust people that just send cold emails because we've tried them and we've got burnt before. But this dude is saying that he can give me meetings, but he's doing it with this new strategy. Okay, this is interesting. Let's hop on a meeting with him. He might have he might have found something that is revolutionary, and then you just talk about this new thing that you have found that works. Is it high volume? Is it personalization? Is it implementing AI? Is it implementing cold calls into your strategy? Is it implementing LinkedIn omnichannel into your strategy? Is it creating authority posts on LinkedIn while doing LinkedIn outreach that is going to be the missing link for them? And then they might think, holy shit, we have been doing LinkedIn prospecting for 5 years and we've not gotten any results. But this dude is saying that you need to post content and authority posts on LinkedIn, otherwise it's not going to work. So they think that, oh fuck, it's that 1% that we were missing, or that 5% that we were missing. Now it's going to work. Let's go. Let's hop on a meeting with them, right? That is how you want to get your offer across. So as we talked about in previous videos, if it's not new or interesting to them, they will think that it's boring and then we'll just delete your email. Okay? That is the hard truth. But if they think that they already know what the thing that you offer is and have heard about it before, then they will also not be that interested. Okay? I have to get some water. 2 seconds. All right. So, all right. So let's do email marketing as an example. You offer to write e-commerce's email newsletters, and a very common offer or a claim to say is that you'll add an additional 25% to their MRR. So you might say, we can add an additional 25% to your monthly recurring revenue through email automations and email campaigns, right? They have heard about this before. They know about email marketing. They have heard offers saying that they can run their newsletter list and produce 25% to their monthly recurring revenue. So instantly when e-commerce hear this, 25% to my monthly recurring revenue, okay, let's check. Is it email marketing they offer? Yep. Okay, we don't need it. Bye. Right? That's the reality. Why is this the reality? Because they are not at level 1 at market sophistication, right? They are not here. They've heard about this offer before. They are at level 3 or level 4. So they've heard about this offer before. And that is why they're not going to respond. So even though that you might think that this is like, oh, this is a good offer, everyone is going to say yes to a 25% increase in revenue, monthly revenue. And you are wondering why you're not getting a response. The reason why you're not getting a response is not because you're not using this special tactic or with a Loom video, or this special tactic that you have to do DMs instead of cold emails, or that you have to do paid ads instead of cold email, or that cold email doesn't work anymore and you have to do LinkedIn posts. It's not the reason. The reason is because people is not interested in this offer anymore, because they are not at that level where it's a new claim and they have never heard about it before. They've heard about it before, so they're not interested. Okay, so what you can say instead is that you can say, we can add an additional 25% to your monthly recurring revenue through a new customer acquisition flywheel strategy. Okay, and then you're like, the prospects is like, okay, 25% to my monthly recurring revenue, even though they didn't give a fuck about it over here. They are obviously interested in more revenue. And then you say through a new customer acquisition flywheel strategy. And they're like, what the fuck is that? And they Google it, and maybe something comes up. I don't know. Maybe something doesn't come up. It's even better if nothing comes up. And I just created this on the fly, as you might know. But this is a new thing, right? This is not saying email automations and email campaigns. This is saying through a 2.0 cold email or cold calling strategy, through inbound marketing, through we have a new software, we have a new all-in-one marketing platform, right? It is new. It is ultra soft toilet paper, not toilet paper, right? Frosted flakes, not cornflakes, right? So by doing something new, it is all of a sudden interesting. So on that note, here is the one and only Ben Settle, which is a pretty funny copywriter or email marketer. And I went to his website, and the first sentence is basically just saying mysterious email tips, doubling, tripling, and even quadrupling sales right now. Slacker email coach who routinely gets praised by the world's highest paid marketers and copywriters is giving away 24 of his little known secrets for making more sales with email. Use the form below to open his daily email tips and a free digital copy of his prestigious $97 a month email player newsletter. Okay, so he is saying email tips. He's being pretty straightforward, but it's also because he only want to attract the people interested in email tips specifically, because that is all he do. The only thing he do is talk about emails and how to get more sales with emails. But you can see how he uses words where it's not just, if he just said email tips to double your sales, it wouldn't be that interesting. He says mysterious. So you're like, what the fuck is those? What is mysterious about these email tips? And then he says Slacker email coach. And you're like, okay, I also want to be a Slacker email coach. Like I also want to Slack and just get paid. And I also want to get praised by the world's highest paid marketers and copywriters. So you can see how he's adding in like social proof. Then he says little known secrets for making more sales. You want to get the 24 little known secrets to making more sales. So when you read this, you basically feel like, okay, this is the 1% that I'm missing, and I've been doing 99% of the things right. I just need that 1%, and that is the mysterious email tips and the little known secrets from Ben Settle. Okay, so you can play around with words and position yourself differently, even though that hundreds and thousands and 10,000s of other coaches has this offer. Everyone says that they have the best email tips, right? But Ben Settle has this huge fucking email list, and he's obviously very, very successful. Okay. So a new opportunity is always more exciting than an improvement. Opportunity offers sells a lot better on cold traffic than improvement offers. That's just a fact. It's a lot easier to like when TikTok ads were getting started, like and getting really popular, it was a lot easier to sell TikTok ads because it was this new thing. It was a new opportunity. People haven't heard about it before, and it was like, oh shit, this could really blow up my business, instead of finding another Facebook ads agency that could improve people's Facebook ads. So a company that were already doing Facebook ads, and let's say that they were driving $100,000 a month through Facebook ads. If someone came to them and said, hey, we are a Facebook ads agency, we can get you to $200,000 a month, or we can get you from $100,000 to $200,000 a month through Facebook ads. And then another dude comes around and says, we can do this with TikTok ads, get you from 100,000 to 200,000. They are more likely to go with TikTok ads, because a new opportunity is always more exciting than improvement, right? everyone knows what they should. Everyone knows that they should just stop eating and start running if they want to lose weight. But there is a reason why there is a new fancy diet coming out every month that takes the world by storm. Okay, like there's always this new diet coming out: keto, carnivore. I don't know the other, like no carbs. Maybe that's one of them. Anyways, there's this new diet coming out all the time, and it's because people is always just looking for that new thing that they can jump on, where it's going to be so much easier than just actually like sticking to the basics. And usually it's always just the basics that works. Okay. And on that note, there's this girl, I think it's called like Lady Boss or something, Kaylin. She wrote an extremely popular book called Big Fat Lies, where you'll basically learn how the weight loss industry relies on 13 big fat lies to keep people fat. And you'll also learn how Kaylin lost 65 pounds after discovering those lies. So again, not a new diet, basically getting back to the basics, but it's something new, and it's also playing into people's suspicions and getting them on your side. So this is a great way, because like the market has like, the funny thing about weight loss is that the market basically never learns. There's always this new pill or supplement that affiliate marketers will sell, and they just sell it for so much. So it's like it never gets to level 5 where people don't believe anything anymore. But it's still, for some people, weight loss is at that point where it's like, you cannot keep telling me these lies, right? And then Kaylin noticed this in the market, like this trend, and she just kind of wrote a book about it, and it got extremely popular because everyone was like, "Oh, there's gotta be something. There's something weird about this. How can there keep coming out new things?" And you just create your claim around that. Okay. Here is another way to kind of word something different. Instead of saying a marketer's playbook, you call it the modern marketer's playbook. Instead of saying a marketing guide, you call it the modern marketer's playbook, right? Not the best example. I just found it in my swipe file, and I thought, why not include it? And this last thing that I found really interesting, which speaks directly to this unique mechanism that we're talking about, is that I found these guys that says the retry strategy: how to increase your customer lifetime value by a minimum of 43%. Okay, what the fuck is the retry strategy, right? We increase your customer lifetime value by a minimum of 43% through our retry strategy. Okay, that's a great cold email. Now, what does Rebelly do? They are basically just a like online merchant like that connects a bunch of different merchants, and I'm 100% sure that these guys have probably tried like the new online merchant that connects 500 different things and can increase your lifetime value by 43%. And people do not give a fuck. But by framing it in a different way, where you call it a new strategy, the retry strategy, and I guess it's a way where you just try a bunch of different merchants until you can charge that card or whatever. But this is like the new strategy that they use to increase an extremely important metric for companies, and it has nothing. It basically has nothing to do with their company and what they do, and they don't care. People are still gonna download this because they're like, "Fuck, what is this retry strategy? I need to know about this." So you can leverage words in your cold emails and make your offer unique. Because if it's not unique, people don't care about your offer. Okay. All right. I know this was a long video. We're going to stop here. But I hope that you learned something from this video. It's extremely important that you have a finger on the pulse in terms of where your prospects is at in terms of skepticism in the market, are they just hearing about this, or are they getting 100 emails on a daily basis? There's a huge difference, and you need to change your offer depending on what level they're at the skepticisms, right? I don't think there's anything else. Let me know if you have any questions about this. I know it's a little bit more complex than the other videos, but if you get this right, this is how you will get success with all your marketing campaigns and prospecting campaigns until the end of the time, okay? Because you just know exactly what you need to say. Um, but a good thing is always to just never like always come up with your own thing. Like I thought this was fucking beautiful. Like the retry strategy, it's so fucking beautiful because like they know that it doesn't matter what the fuck they do. They just need to figure out what is the metric that we affect when people use our product, and then we create a unique mechanism or a unique strategy, and we tell them what to do. And of course, it's our software they have to use to do that. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.